All right. So this is Seth Thurston, and I am so excited for you to be joining me in this web class today. We're going to be starting in just a moment. There's a couple people still hopping on, so I'll go ahead and wait for them. So we're going to be sharing so many ideas back and forth. I'm really excited for today's presentation, what you're going to learn, how this is going to change your life. So I need you guys to be engaged in the chat box on the side. In fact, let me know where you're viewing from. So because today we're going to be talking about how to increase your vitality, your physical freedom, prevent aging, and ultimately increase your lifespan by becoming, putting your body and health in a state of peak performance. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to build your dream body so you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and maintain, vitality and, six-pack abs if you want all year long, and not yo-yo up and down. We're going to talk about how to eliminate chronic pain permanently and injury, bulletproof your body so that you're resilient and don't get injured. And we're going to be talking about how to build an athletic body that will last you for the rest of your life. That way you're able to, build your physique, build your athletic ability, and then maintain that, right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. So that's what we're going to talk about today is how to lose body fat permanently, eliminate chronic pain, and build a strong, agile body that's built to last. Okay, without giving up your favorite foods, doing dangerous workouts or working out longer, and supplements or drugs. Okay, I'm going to be clearing the confusion and myths like you shouldn't eat sugar, no fruit, no carbs, no meat. So basically, what kind of diet should you be following? We're going to cover that. Keto, intermittent fasting, vegan, 6 meals a day. How many calories do you need? How much cardio? We're going to cover all of that. I'm going to simplify it for you so you know exactly what to do, providing clarity on what's important so you can focus on that and ignore all of the distractions. And ultimately give you a plan on so you know exactly where to start and get results today that you're wanting. So the only way to permanently lose fat and become pain and have pain-free performance and an athletic body built to last is through movement hacking. And I'm going to show you that in this presentation today. Okay. So this is for two kinds of people. A beginner who is maybe just getting started or starting over again, or someone who's already working out, they're already doing something, working out, dieting, but they reached a plateau and want to push through it and just get better and faster results or just get to the next level. Okay. So maybe you're working out and not getting results. Maybe you are getting results, but you want faster results, right? You want better, faster, to the next level. Or, like maybe in the past, you tried something and it didn't work for you. So you don't know where to start. This is going to provide clarity for you. Okay. So I want you to type in the chat box right now, like, which one are you? So wherever you're at, you're always trying to get to the next level. What do you identify as? Are you someone who's just getting started for the very first time and never started anything before? Or are you someone who has just, just started trying something? I'm sorry, like you're just getting started. You tried something in the past and didn't work. Or you're trying something right now, but it's not working. Or are you trying something now and got some results, but you reached the plateau. Okay, so what do you identify as? Where are you currently at? Okay, so what you're going to learn is if you're someone who's just getting started, you're going to learn how to finally get lasting results. So my program is, referred to, people call it, what I'm known for really is the last program that you'll ever need. Because what I do is I help people achieve their result and then do it in a sustainable way and help them create a lifestyle so that they never have to do another program ever again. Yeah, they might have different goals. Yeah, they might want to take it to the next level, but ultimately they don't have to regain and lose and regain everything over and over and over again. They're only progressing forward each time. Okay. So that's what we're going to do here. And if you're someone who's already taking action, already doing something, This is going to help you get better and faster results. So whatever level you're at, we're going to accelerate it. We're going to, maximize what you're doing. So that way you can get to the next level and even save time doing it. Okay. So I want you to write down in your chat box so I can kind of customize this for you a little bit. What is your goal right now, right? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to lose body fat? You want to eliminate pain, or maybe just prevent pain and become injury resistant? Are you wanting to build your dream physique? You want to look good, have the aesthetical improvements that you'd want so you can be confident taking your shirt off at the beach? Or are you, and you can want all of them, right? Are you wanting to build agility and kind of athletic performance? Like you want to be able to play tennis, you want to play basketball, like you want to be able to go skiing, you want to be able to like not have to second guess whether you can do something active. You just want to go and do it and enjoy yourself, right? Or maybe you're already active and you just want to like get faster, jump higher, right? Or are you wanting to build a body that's built to last forever? So what I mean by that is you are have no compensations in your body, you're injury proof, you're resilient. And that's the most important thing to you, is not getting injured. Maybe you get injured in the past and you're afraid of accelerating your physical ability. You're like, what if I get injured this time? There's a way to prevent that, okay? Or you're someone who wants to just achieve peak health and vitality to increase your lifespan, okay? Like you just want to have the best blood, pressure, heart rate that you can, perfect cholesterol levels, and just all of those things, right? And that's what this is going to help you do, okay? So I'm going to invite you to become a movement hacker. So movement hackers are people that actually do this. They're doing this day in and day out. And these are just some of my clients how I've helped them achieve transformations into their peak body, physically, aesthetically. I've helped people here, for instance, like Dave, who physical therapy wasn't working for him, get out of pain and rehabilitate his knee. Craig here lost over 100 pounds and eliminated his diabetes, and so many other health improvements, by the way, cholesterol, blood pressure, all that stuff, resting heart rate. And I help people do so many more things, okay? And this is what movement hacking is all about, is about taking your body from the state it's at, you might even be healthy, and putting it into peak performance, going above healthy into a body that's in your peak state. So you're preventing disease, you're preventing sickness, you're preventing getting injured. And that's what being the peak state is all about. And that's what movement hacking is all about, okay? So who am I? Well, I am, so I have to put these in order for you. But I am someone who has been featured on Hercules. You can see the picture back there. I've been featured on live TV several times for all kinds of things. And I am the founder of the Fit District. So this is my training studio. There's some personal training in the middle. To the right, Movement Stretch Studio. I'm a fitness and longevity coach to help people transform into their best self and unlock their potential so they can live their best life for longer. And I practice, and one of the things that makes me different is that I practice what I preach, okay? So I'm not giving you all kinds of fancy, jargon that is like, really, it's unrealistic and unsustainable, and nobody wants to do some of these strategies that people, preach about. And I give you the things that work, and they take the least amount of time, and they are enjoyable, like how to make it so that you're not just like, fitness and health should not put limits and restrictions on your life. It should free you and unhandcuff you to do whatever you want, whenever you want to, as you please, and still maintain peak health and vitality, okay? And still live longer. So that's who I am. And it started with me when I was playing sports. So I played football, basketball. I think I played baseball somewhere. Now, I wasn't that good at sports. And so that's what got me into training. And since then, I've helped other people with their sports careers. Like just like LeBron James and Tom Brady, they invest a lot of money into their body to be the best they could be. I worked with Jamal Williams to help him optimize his performance to become the best that he could be. And this was him training with me on the left at my gym. And this was before he became pro. So what I did was I helped him get ready. I trained him. I worked with him on his nutrition. I helped with him on recovery, everything to put his body in peak state of performance. And he ended up getting the 4th-round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers as a running back for the $2.9 million contract. And he's having immense success as a professional athlete in his early years of playing. And that's what the power of this method that I use on my clients is, that it helps you achieve the best health physical performance that you possibly can be. And you can do it at any level. Okay. This is just a high level athlete that I've worked with. And then I transitioned from, bodybuilding into, I transitioned from playing sports that I wasn't good at into bodybuilding, which some people call it a sport, but really it's more like you're training and then you're for a physique, right? So other sports you train and you go and do a sport. In bodybuilding, you train, and then that's it, right? You just go and you flex on stage. So some people call it sport. I think it's more just like you're modeling, right? So at a different level of model. So I've won, I've gotten first place in competitions. So I've done men's physique, and since then I've helped other people do men's physique. I've helped women do women bikini, Miss America competitions, beauty and model. So I helped people sculpt their bodies into their dream body ultimately, right? So whether your goal is just to drop 5 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of fat, and just have a little bit bigger chest or a bigger butt, thighs, like whatever the physique is that you're looking for, that's what I've helped people do since then. And all of these, if you'll notice, started off with a passion of me wanting to do these things and then helping somebody else do them, okay? And it's translated into different components of health and fitness. At some point, I got injured doing bubble soccer. It's funny enough. I really just crushed my ankle, and that injured my ankle pretty badly. It took me quite a while to recover from that, but I was able to rehab myself. And at that point in time, my physical freedom was canceled. I couldn't do the snowboarding that I wanted to do. I couldn't go hiking, the Grand Canyon, like you see there, like Zion, play basketball that I like to do because it's such a high, it's like a high risk of getting, injuring your ankle. And what happened was it didn't stop with the ankle injury because I sort of ignored it and continued my training that I was doing before for performance and for bodybuilding. It created a weak link in my structure, and I started having compensations that I started to notice. I wasn't really paying attention to it because I'm like, oh, I'm fine, like everything was fine at that point. Then I started to have a little bit of knee pain, right? And what it was because my body was out of alignment. I was creating compensations favoring away from the ankle that was there. So what I did was, as soon as I felt that compensation happening, I knew something was wrong. And that's when I started to deep dive into realigning my body so that I could prevent injuries from happening. So after I started to implement this into my training program, in addition to my bodybuilding, in addition to my sports performance, I was able to put my body back into alignment and, through the musculoskeletal training, and the knee pain went away. Okay. And since then, I've helped other people do the same thing. Like I helped Dave eliminate his knee pain and get him back into peak performance after a knee surgery. I've helped people with shoulder pain. Here's a whole bunch of other people that I've helped. Like Pam, her pain is gone. I've helped so many people eliminate chronic pain that they've had from the root cause being muscular skeletal alignment issues. And your muscles control your bones will control your muscles. So going and getting, when we're talking about alignment, it comes from your muscles being strengthened so that it can keep you in alignment. It's not something that you just go and boom, get realigned. Because what will happen is as soon as you start moving again, if your muscles aren't fixed, it'll put you back out of alignment again. Okay. So that's why the only way to fix it permanently is to realign the body, yes, but the muscles that control the body. Okay. And that's why I built this whole training studio. We were featured on the news, talking about how we were movement hacking people's bodies out of pain, movement stretch. And even I've been teaching others these skills on how to enhance performance, athletic performance, so they can get, work with athletes, work with people who are in pain, and work with people who are wanting to do, shows in bodybuilding. And that's what peak performance is all about. So like, what is it exactly? It's about being your ultimate best, being physically free so you can look, feel, and move the way you want to without having any pain or limitations, right? Having a resilient body, having more energy and stamina, vitality, and health. That's peak performance. And you cannot do this without training your body and having, physical stamina and strength, okay? A lot of people talk about being, bulletproof, and all they talk about is just the diet, right? The diet's important, but your body is the vessel that facilitates movement in your entire life, all right? And that's why, movement is so important, that we're training our bodies to move, because movement actually is what creates health, right? Health doesn't create movement, if that makes sense. So it's like training your body's, muscles to be stronger. Having stronger muscles is what's healthy. And you can't just eat vegetables and then be healthy by itself. You definitely need both, right? So, and that's why movement is so important. Movement is our life. Like, if you were eating vegetables and you were really healthy, you had good energy, but your muscles withered away and you started having back pain, you couldn't squat anymore. Is that the quality of life that you want? No, that's not peak performance. That's like half of performance, right? So we want peak performance, which is both. And movement is what our bodies are designed to do. And that's why the only way to have peak performance is to, yes, eat healthy, yes, get good sleep, things like that, drink a lot of water, but it's combining all of that into training our body so that it's optimizing our body's ability to be healthy. And that's why the root source of peak performance is really your body's ability to move, okay? Because movement creates blood flow. And our bodies are in a state of growth and decline, right? So peak performance and vitality is over here on the growth side of the thing. Like, the tree is growing, it's healthy, it's vibrant, or you're declining, okay? There's no like middle ground. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna start this program and then I'm gonna stop it, right? That's not gonna work, because as soon as you stop it, you're gonna still go into a state of decline. So this is about preventing aging from happening. And if you're not growing, you're dying, because you're declining. Because this is kind of like what happens with movement, is we start crawling, we standing, walk, jump, run, and then all of a sudden, like, we just like start working around a computer, like typing like this and on our phones and driving, and we stop moving, and our bodies get tight, start having pain, blood flow happens, all kinds of health problems. And the source of it is that your body is not able to move well any further. So, and what happened is, and really the biggest impact of human decline and this lack of movement in our modern lifestyle, is that we start to lose muscle. So muscle loss is the biggest human decline that currently exists. Okay, it's a huge problem. And unless you're fighting back against human decline, you're either growing or you're declining. You can put a halt to decline, right? And in fact, you can unlock a lot of potential, especially in the beginning, and build more muscle than you're losing a lot faster, okay? So what muscle loss is going to cause is going to cause weakness. And if you look at this chart, you'll see as we get older, it gets harder to build muscle. We start to lose it faster, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can stop muscle loss as long as you're focusing on doing that. But if you just like stop training and stop working out, and what's interesting is the process of working out and the things that go into it affect every other area of your health. And that's why this is the root source of putting you into peak performance, is really this process of building muscle, okay? And building it in the right ways. Okay, the second area that is muscle loss affects you in human decline is your inability. So not only are you weak, but then you stop being able to move efficiently. Your muscles get tight, you get stiff, which makes it even harder, and then you're not able to do certain things. So because of weakness or stiffness, or you don't have their neurological and muscle connection, you start being unable to do things. Like you can't play the sports you want to, you can't do things yourself. You have to ask for help. You can't get off the couch like this gentleman. The third area of human decline that muscle loss, that's the root cause of muscle loss, is that you're more prone to injury. You're more prone to having pain. In fact, back pain is one of the biggest problems of pain, and it's easily fixed with the right core strengthening and postural alignment and awareness. Okay, so that's what this is all about. So you either use it or you lose it. Okay, this is some pictures of people who had muscle, and then if you stop training your legs, let's say you get injured, let's say you only train one, you're gonna have a leg like this guy, or you stop working out, you're gonna have a body like this guy, just like skinny fat. Okay, this is a normal muscle, this is an atrophied muscle. So human decline is a choice. It's not age or genetics. All right, that's the first thing I want you to understand, because you can either have a lifespan like this, and there's two types of human decline. Not always is it does it just look, so the first kind of decline is just you're losing muscle and you're getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, right? Like people who are not overweight, right? But if you're not building muscle, it means that you're not eating enough, you're not training your body, you're gonna get frail, weak, your posture is gonna decline even further. The other kind of human decline is your metabolism is slowing down, and that's the biggest root cause of one of the other effects of muscle loss with human decline, is that your metabolism slows down because you're losing muscle, and you start growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, what's interesting is because you're losing muscle, you're growing bigger and weaker simultaneously, which is not good either. Okay, so muscle is the key. It improves everything, right? When you have when you're doing strength, when you're doing resistance training, which is what's required to build muscle, it improves your mental health, your heart health. It's going to reduce your weight size because it'll be increasing metabolism, your bone density. It helps improve your arthritic pain management because you're getting blood flow, you're getting things moving. You ultimately think better, your cognition is higher, your mood is positive outlook, you're more confident, your body looks better, you're actually physically stronger, you can do things better from muscle, right? Boost your immunity. This is one of the biggest ways to prevent sickness and really be bulletproof, is having a stronger physical body. And cardiovascular health. When you weight train, you will automatically be better at cardio because your heart rate is, guess what? Your heart rate is working a lot, maybe even more, doing strength training than if all you did was just run and not work your muscles, right? Just do a very low resistant type of movement. There's really only low resistant movement and then high resistance movements. And high resistance movements is what's going to help you build muscle. Low resistance movements are not going to do anything besides, work your heart. But what's interesting is if you do high resistance movements, you work both. So you don't have to actually do anything separate. So this is like life without muscle. You're just like declining and getting frustrated and weaker, and you have less energy. This is like life with muscle. You're physically free, like you're happy and you can do things that you didn't even think were possible. So it's kind of like the fountain of youth. You get to eat whatever you want, whenever. It's going to increase your metabolism. You're going to boost your immunity, and you'll be pain-free. Okay, you'll have the physical freedom that you want, because muscle unlocks your strength, your physique, athletic performance. So like your mobility, your agility, your speed, strength, and your structural integrity. So when I say structural integrity, this is like your postural alignment. And when everything is aligned, you are resilient and bulletproof, and you're able to resist injury, and it's important that you're training each of these areas. Okay, now we can't control our age, but we can control our bodies by building muscle in those three areas. So that's what's important, is I want you to focus on what you can control, which is your strength and physique, your performance, and your body structure. All right, and that's ultimately what it takes to build a dream body built to last, is training your body to build muscle in each of those areas. Okay, when you build muscle in the major muscle groups, you build a balanced physique and you build strength, overall strength. Okay, when you're building your agility, this is what's going to help you really improve your performance, because you'll be able to be strong throughout the full length of movements that the body's capable of doing, and you're trained to move in different directions. You're more stable, your core is strong, and then your structural integrity. When you train your structural integrity, you'll be pain-free. If you're in pain, it'll take you out of pain. If you're not in pain, it'll prevent it from happening and prevent you from getting injured. Okay, and it'll just even enhance your performance all that more as well. And they're all interconnected, for sure. And that's why it's important to train all three. Now, what a lot of people do is, and you need all three. You need to have a balanced strength, balanced physique. They all kind of go together, kind of like a business. You need people, process, technology. You can't run a business without people. You can't run a business without processes. You can't run a business without technology, really. So you need all three. Okay, they're interconnected, and that's what movement hacking your body is. It's building muscle in movements that have high resistance in all three of those areas, and that's how you create a built to last and peak performance body. Okay. And like I said, I've been on live TV talking about movement hacking. I've helped professional athletes, CEOs, business people, professionals, competitors, models, actresses, doctors, programmers, anybody that you can think of with this system, with this process. Okay. People have had restless leg syndrome. I've helped them eliminate chronic pain. And that's kind of what I want you to focus. What I want you to realize that I want you to focus on is focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So if you have a health issue like low testosterone, restless leg syndrome, weight gain, diabetes, you're having trouble losing weight, those are things that you don't want, right? So stop focusing on them. Focus on what you do want. Okay, so those are all the problems that you have currently. So what you want is a body that does not have those problems. So the only way to attain a body that doesn't have those problems, is to focus on being healthy, and if you want more than that, being in peak performance. So it's like, what does somebody who's healthy, what does that look like? What would I focus on? And what you focus on is building muscle in those three areas. Because when you do that, you will automatically get rid of the problems that are associated with somebody who does not do that. That makes sense. Okay, so when you build muscle, you're going to speed up. Diets actually cause muscle loss. So if you're focusing on, like, I have weight I need to lose, so let me eat less, what you're actually doing is you're lowering your metabolism, because doing a restrictive diet, eating less, is going to cause you, and like doing starvation diets and fasting, it's going to cause you to lose muscle, because you won't have the energy to work out, and you'll lose muscle, and then you'll lose weight as well. And this is the chart that kind of gives an example of that. So you'll lose weight, but then what happens is you go back to your normal lifestyle and you'll start to gain the weight back again. But this time you have less muscle because you didn't build it. You didn't preserve it and you didn't build more, right? So you have a lower metabolism. So then you're going to gain more weight back than before because your metabolism is lower from less muscle. Muscle is what is the really only thing you can control up or down in your metabolism. And then you do it again. You go on another yo-yo diet. You lose some weight and you gain it back again because you lost more muscle. And now you have a slower metabolism. You're going to gain more weight than you did before. And that just keeps happening over and over again. The only way to lose weight permanently is to increase your metabolism, your muscle mass. And other people, they're like, well, let me just do more cardio. Like, I'm going to burn off the body fat. One, this is just terrible on your joints. Like, if you are overweight and you do high impact exercise, all that weight and stress is going to cause you to eventually have pain, higher risk of injury. So doing cardio, high impact exercise is the worst thing to do if you're overweight, because you're not in the shape, you're not conditioned yet to be able to handle the stresses of such an intense, vigorous exercise. You could get there, but you're not ready for it yet. Your body's not in a place physically. Also, cardio causes muscle loss. So you need to actually be strength training so that you can go and do the sports that you want to do. So if you like to run, then you have to go and do resistance training so that it counters all the cardio that you're doing. So this is an example of someone who does like long endurance versus someone who does sprinting. So sprinters have stronger bodies because they do quick bursts of movement like resistance training, and it ends up being more resistance training oriented because of the way that they're executing their workouts. And this is the same thing for, a woman, marathon runner versus like someone who works out in the gym. Okay. Inactivity causes muscle loss. So choosing to not work out and build muscle is going to cause more muscle loss. So if you diet, you're going to lose muscle. If you do cardio, you're going to lose muscle. And if you do nothing, you're going to lose muscle. And it's only going to get worse as you age over time. This is that. So at this point, I hope you're wondering, what can I do to maximize my muscle gain? So glad you asked, because that's exactly what this presentation is for. And we're going to cover that and do it in a way that doesn't cause damage to my body and joints. Okay. And this is a big problem as well. So to build muscle, the only way you can build muscle is through resistance plus time under tension. All right. That's what creates hypertrophy, which is your cells then grow bigger than they were before. There's hypertrophy and hyperplasia, which is you increase the number of cells, which is debatable if this happens or not. But hypertrophy is you increase the cell size of the muscle fibers. Okay, that's what happens when you do resistance plus time. You create hypertrophy. If you so guess what is not time? What's not time is going and doing like really fast reps and getting everything done as fast as you can and doing like really, crazy lifts for as fast as you can and jumping around and doing jump ropes. Those work your heart, but they don't physically get you stronger because you're not pushing against resistance that, and ultimate resistance is about 60 to 90 seconds of tension on a muscle, which is what happens when you do like a set of 10, for instance. So here's an example of the MMM protocol. This is my protocol to help you build muscle the right way. It's the momentum maximization protocol. And this is when you lower, let's say you're doing a bicep curl, when you lower the weight, you're going to lower it eccentrically for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to pause for 1 second at the bottom, pull it up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that squeeze for 1 second, and then 0 seconds at the bottom. Okay, so you're doing 4-second ups and downs. That's the main thing you need to know. How long and how many reps would you do to build muscle? Form is the most important thing, and doing it with that tempo is the second most important thing. For building muscle, that's the most important thing. You pick a load, okay, a weight. You're going to perform your training period, maybe like 6 weeks of training that muscle. Your body's going to adapt, and you're going to increase the load and continue adapting. Okay, so remember, time under tension is, there's only 2 variables: weight and how long you're doing the reps for. And then so you either increase your weight each time or you'll increase your reps. So I tell my clients kind of a general muscle building range between 8 and 12. Okay. And the weight will just be depending on your abilities. A weight that you can get those 12, and that's about all you can get with good form always. Okay. So that's the MMM protocol again. So apply this to everything. So let's do a bench press example. When you lower the weight, you would start at the top. That's the eccentric when you're going down. So you're going to lower it for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it isometrically at the bottom for 1 to 2 seconds, and then push it up. That's concentric for 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't lock your elbows out and rest up here. You're going to hold that for 0 seconds, and you're going to come back down again until you perform all the reps that you decided to do for that exercise. Okay, that's a bench press example. Pull-ups, the same but opposite, because you're pulling up. So you're going to pull up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for 1 to 2 seconds. Lower yourself for 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And at the bottom, you're not gonna hang and rest there. You're gonna start pulling back up again. Okay. And that's a pull-up example. So I want you to try it out. I want you to do a push-up right now. And whether you're doing it on the wall, as a modified version, or the couch, I want you to go ahead and practice just doing a push-up, whether you're doing it against the wall, whether you're doing it against the couch, whether you're doing it on the ground, or your feet up on the couch, decline, whatever level that you're ready for, whether you're doing it, or maybe you're at a home gym right now watching this. I want you to practice that. So do the 4 seconds coming down, hold it for 1 second to 2, press up for 4 seconds, and then repeat. Okay. That's going to create time under tension. You're going to actually work the muscles that you're focusing on correctly without doing damage and putting stress on your joints. Okay. So how much muscle do you need? Okay. Now it's building muscle in all 3 of these areas. So you might have one area of your body that's lagging compared to the others. And the key is to having all 3 of them equally balanced. And that's when you have a built to last peak performance body. Okay. So if you're super strong, right, you've been training your physique, but you've not been training your structural integrity, you're probably going to notice, one, that you'll probably be a little bit out of alignment. Something will be off about you, but you'll also start to notice that like something is hurting. You're starting to have pain somewhere, right? And that's what a lot of people do, is they just train the big muscle groups because they don't know how to train the body's structure. Other areas that are lacking is, let's say you've been training your physique again, but you haven't been training your mobility or agility or your core. So you're limited in the range of motions that you can do, and you've been doing very big muscle group focused exercises. So you might have things that are out of balance. You're compensating on exercises, and that's going to cause a problem. You'll get injured at some point, or you'll just be strong, but you really still can't even do anything. Like you can't pick something over without your back hurting. Your knees hurt when you start skipping leg day. You have to train all 3 and build muscle in all 3 areas equally for your body to be bulletproof, and it just gives you more muscles that you'll be able to build, and you'll actually enhance your performance and strength even more. So you have to build a balance in all 3 to create a body that's built to last. All right, so normal movements don't build muscle. That's what I was talking about, like running, walking, hiking, jumping, swimming, sports activities, hobbies, stretching, mobility, fast workouts aren't going to build muscle. Is it better than doing nothing? Probably. But if you're watching this webinar, this presentation, you're not someone who wants to do something better than doing nothing. You want to maximize what you're doing, right? So that it helps you do all the things you want better and live the best life you can. And that's the problems with certain exercises that you do. So some don't build muscle at all, and certain exercises cause injury and pain. So especially if you're doing them wrong, and 2, if that's all that you do. Because again, in order to have a balanced physique, athletic performance and injury bulletproof body, you have to train all three equally. So if you do weightlifting, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't train your core in addition to these big muscle groups, you're eventually going to start having back pain, even though you're really strong. You'll start having shoulder pain or knee pain. Okay, your joint, you're gonna take a hit on your joint somewhere because you'll do something basic. I had a trainer in my gym that's more like a power lifter kind of guy, and he strained his calf just stepping and picking up a dumbbell because his body's not used to having to really move in any other direction except for the one power move that they do. So he's not trained in an athletic, functional, dimensional way where he can move in multiple directions with strength instead of just one single lift that he's strong for. Okay. And that's the problem with only doing weightlifting the traditional way, weightlifting. Now, high impact sports like running cause all sorts of problems because it doesn't build muscle. And it actually puts just impact on your joints. You eventually have back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, because you're really just, one, you're putting impact on your body, so it's not good for it. But second is you're getting weaker every time you go out and run. Your body's getting more frail, less bone density. Everything that's negative is happening after a long run, which is why it's so important to strength train, because we need to build muscle so you can keep your body able and resilient and strong to do the things that you want to do. So if you run, that's great. I'm not against running, but running is not a way to train your body. Okay. What you need to do is train your body so that you can go and run. It's an activity. Okay. It's not a form of exercise. When I say exercise, define as something that you're doing to train and improve your body. That's just something you go to use your body because you like it. Okay, but it's not good for you necessarily. Stretching is good to an extent. A lot of people, they overstretch, okay, and also they're doing stretching that's not good for you, stretching the wrong way. So doing stretching where your muscle is flaccid is not all that beneficial as doing stretching where your muscles are tensed, where you're using them, you have a load on top of you when the stretch is happening. There are benefits to it, but it's overdone. And if that's the only thing that you're doing, you're creating flexible, weak muscles, okay? And you're not strengthening them so they're in balance, okay? You're not actually taking them through active ranges of motion. If all you do is just stretch, then your muscles aren't going to stop moving the right way, even though they're flexible. You'll be bendy, but not have structural integrity, okay? That's why it's important to understand the difference. So all three of these really damage your body, and so you don't want to do them. Other training programs are incomplete or don't build programs. So, and that's the biggest problem with certain, exercise programs or just trainings that people enroll in with other trainers, with trainers and health coaches, is they have them do these basic programs that are very one-dimensional, but not all-inclusive of what should be done to train a human body to become its best. They're either doing like physique training, like they're doing like these bodybuilding or powerlifting kind of workouts where they're just working these primary muscle groups, but then they can't move. They have no agility. They have no core. They have no mobility, and they're not trained in being able to move in ways that are, multi-dimensional. Like all they can do is walk forward because all they did was a squat, versus being able to move laterally like you would in life or a sport. Or they don't work really any of the stability and core muscles that you would need for your structural integrity. Okay, a lot of the stabilizer muscles. Okay, and you need all three for maximum results and sustainable results that will not damage your body and allow you to have the best body you can for the longest amount of time and ultimately live longer and have the peak vitality. Okay, so that's why what you've tried in the past didn't work for you, And it's not your fault. It's not because of age or genetics or like the experience needed. You just needed the right body training system that's going to get you the results you want without causing, problems that you don't want, like getting injured, or spending all this time doing something that's just not even working because you're doing the wrong things and you're missing out on something that's more important that you're not getting for something that's less important, right? Like you're just stretching all day long for all of your workouts 5 days a week, but you're not strengthening anything. You're not realigning anything. You can't actually perform a sport. Like your body is just bendy, right? Or maybe you do something else. Like all you do is just powerlifting, but then you can't ski because you'll pull a muscle because your body doesn't actually move in any other way except for like that with 3 lifts that you do. Okay. So training the body in the best way possible in all 3 areas is called movement hacking. And those are the 3 secrets that we're going to go over today. I'm going to go with secret number 1, the revolutionary system that's going to help you implement this. Secret number 2, uncovering the efficiencies that are causing your pain, identifying the root cause, and number 3, how the right movement hacks will speed up results, build your best body so you can live life without limits. Okay, so let's go to secret number 1. How your dream physique is the key to eat whatever you want whenever you want to. Okay, so when I say dream physique, this is an example of symmetry. I'm talking about aesthetic symmetry, and a lot of it comes down to one, you were born with a certain framework of bones, right? You might be taller and kind of narrower, you might be wider and shorter. That we cannot change, right? But we can make the best you possible. And that's essentially what bodybuilding is kind of all about. It's about building the best version of you that can exist on this planet. Okay, taking what you have and maximizing it to its fullest. And that's possible for everybody. And so, but what's important to realize is that there are certain things that are similar for everybody and it has to do with the shape. So for guys, we want this triangle shape. That's the best physique that you can have because it just makes everything look better. It makes your waist look narrower. So by having broader shoulders and bigger legs, it kind of makes like an X and having a narrow waist. Okay, so if you have body fat, it's going to make you look like this guy all the way to the left. It widens you out. You now become a circle instead of an X or triangle, right? So as you start to lose fat, now you become maybe more like a rectangle. That's better, right? And then eventually you become a triangle or X. So people store fat in different areas. So the thing with this is we need to lose fat, and we can't control where that comes off first. It'll just happen. And we need to build muscle in the areas that will shape the physique the right way. Okay, now the major muscle groups are going to do that. So doing the right workouts to make that happen, the right muscle splits, the right focus, working the major muscle groups like chest, shoulders, legs, hamstrings, glutes. Those are the muscles we know we need to work as far as the major muscle groups, because there's certain lifts that are best for that. So ultimately, we need more muscle and less fat in the right areas, of course, okay? And that's what's important for you to know is that you're not going to get bulky, because in this picture, if you lose 5 pounds of fat and build 5 pounds of muscle, guess what? You'll actually be thinner, okay? And that's why you want as much muscle as possible, because muscle is what increases your metabolism and helps you keep the fat off. And muscle it's going to benefit your life in every way possible. So you should never have this thought in your head like, oh, I don't want to get too bulky. That's fine if you don't want to work, hard enough to get bulky, but you're not going to just accidentally get bulky. Like I have guys that train like 5 days a week. They eat like 4,500 calories, and they're working so hard to build like a little bit of muscle each month, right? If you're just someone who's getting started and says like, I don't want to get bulky, it's basically insulting. You're insulting yourself, and you're putting a false belief in your mind that doesn't actually exist, okay? Because actually the more muscle is, the better you'll look. You'll actually achieve your goal faster. And it's is the right thought to have. Okay, so like here's an example of like a woman at 60 kg, obviously low fat, low muscle, high fat. Here's a woman 60 kg, low fat, high muscle. Did muscle make her bulky? No, right? So, and here's an example of men and women. Now, this is what's important. So the first picture is an example of increasing your muscle and losing fat simultaneously. This one, they probably did the same thing, but what's important to notice is that as the body fat goes down, is what uncovers the muscle and makes you look quote unquote bulky. Okay. Their measurements actually are probably smaller because, again, fat takes up more space in this world on your body, right? So if you lose it, you're actually losing inches. Okay. Now, if you build muscle, you might gain a little bit, but it's so small. So, and it's so hard to even do that. So the biggest factor in your appearance is building muscle and losing fat. So pick the body fat percentage that gives you the kind of look that you're going for, and never worry about building too much muscle. Okay. Because what the next question I might have is like, what causes fat gain then? Well, fat gain is your energy intake is more than your energy expenditure. Okay. So energy expenditure is actually what's referred to as metabolism. Okay. So metabolism is a combination of all the things that burn calories in a day or week. Your physical activity, your resting metabolic rate, which is basically your body burning calories to function like your heart beating, breathing, those kinds of things, right? Your resting metabolic rate, and your TEF, which is the thermic effect of food. So all the things that burn calories with eating, like there's actually foods that are negative. Like if you eat them, you actually burn more calories digesting than eating. Okay, like vegetables, for instance. As well as like another area is like just calories that you burn with just like your movements throughout the day. Like I'm moving right now, that burns calories too. Okay, so that's energy expenditure. Okay, so what's important to realize is that muscle burns fat, not cardio. Okay, so when you're actually let's say you're in a state where you haven't eaten in a couple hours and you've burned off all of the glycogen in your muscle and stored glycogen in your liver, your body will probably actually, let's go back. When it's converting energy into fuel that it needs, it starts with the food that you ate. But what's actually burning the fuel, right? So your muscle, when it needs energy, it starts with the ATP that's stored in the muscle, which is gone in about 3 seconds. So again, when you move, it requires a muscle, right? Movement burns calories. Now your heart's a muscle, but cardiovascular activity, it's only one muscle when all of it works together. So ATP gets burned first. The second is the stored glycogen in your body. Then third, you convert fat to fuel. And all of it's happening from the muscle. Okay. So muscle loss causes weight gain. If you start to have less muscle, guess what? Your metabolism is going down. You went from a maintenance of like 2,500 calories to like 1,500 calories, but you're still eating 2,500 calories. Guess what? You're going to start to gain weight. So that's what your metabolism is. It's the combination of all of the things that burn calories in a day. It's not something that needs to be fixed, right? It's not something that's wrong with you. It's something that is, and it can be changed. You control your metabolism. That's what's great. The doctors don't control your metabolism. Pills can control your metabolism by thermogenics that boost your heart rate, so it makes your heart beat faster, so that you burn more calories. That's not increasing. It is increasing your metabolism, but it's not this mystery of like, wow, it's magically making me burn fat. No, it's making you burn more calories throughout the day without having to do anything. But it's not good for your heart, and it's really not that big of an effect because like your heart is not going to burn as much as your entire body and physical muscle as well. So muscle controls your metabolism. That's the biggest thing for you to understand. So this is your total daily expenditure, which is your metabolism. You have this area, this piece of the pie, which is your physical exercise, which the maximum physical exercise that you would want to do that maximizes the most calorie burn is weight training. And then the other area that's kind of the biggest is that you have control over is your thermogenic effective food. And then the calories you burn just being you, that's your resting metabolic rate, is your muscle mass, because your muscle mass can be added, can be increased or decreased. Okay. So what's cool is if you do weight training to burn calories, you'll eventually build your resting metabolic rate so big that you'll burn more calories than you're intaking. And that's the goal here. So muscle burns fat while you sleep. Okay. And that's what the resting metabolic rate is. Now, you do have a short afterburn from your workouts. It's called EPOC. And then this is from muscle repair. So a lot of EPOC tends to get attributed to cardio, and it can happen a little bit from those, but it happens even more from resistance training because you're damaging your muscles. They're having to repair and grow. And that process is the excessive post-exercise oxygen consumption. Your body will take in oxygen at a higher rate than it did pre-exercise so it can cool down, repair itself, and return to resting state. It's required the body and metabolism to work at a higher rate, so it burns more calories, okay? Plus, you have the long afterburn, which is 10 calories per pound of muscle from the muscle repair. Now, what's interesting is all fad diets are the same. So when I say fad, I'm just talking about they're trying to trick you that there's some magical thing that eating a certain way is going to do for you to lose weight. There might be differences. There are differences nutritionally, like you're getting different micronutrients, macronutrients from, and then maybe at a cellular level, absorption rate, certain diets. Okay, fine. But none of those are going to affect your fat loss or your muscle gain ultimately. Okay. There's like the thing that makes the biggest difference, and that's going to be your calories. Then the quality of food is good, obviously makes a difference, and then the timing. Those are the three things that make the biggest amount of difference. No one really knows how things affect your cells. That's all speculation, but you can implement those on top of the first three as well. So this is a balanced diet. Like let's say you're having 33% of your calories from fat, 33% from carbs, 33% from protein. Let's say you go on keto. In order to lose weight on keto, basically you cut out your carbs. So you're eating 33% less calories because you cut out your carbs. Then you'll lose weight. Now, if you just increase your protein, if you double your protein now or your fats, and you have 60% fat or 60% protein, you're not going to lose weight just because you're on keto. There's no special difference between increasing your fat supply and having protein and that combination. It still comes down to the reason it might work is because accidentally you're eating 33% less calories. Accidentally. You're not planning on it. It just accidentally happens. And if that's the strategy you need to do to reduce your calories, that's fine. As long as you understand what you're doing is that you're reducing your calories. It has nothing to do with that you've eliminated your carbs. Okay. Because this is a long-term process. Like initially you might be talking about how the body burns fat, and it still comes down to calories. So also low fat, you eliminate fat. If you eliminate all your fat, I think this is wrong here. Let's say that's fat. You eliminate your fat. Well, anyway, so same thing. You're eliminating 30% of your calories. Great. You're now better off than you were. All right, so this next one. what if I eliminate all of my meals? Or if I do eliminate meals, like intermittent fasting. So normally you'd have like 5 small meals throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, a couple snacks, protein bar, apple, whatever, right? If you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna eliminate my breakfast, I'm gonna eliminate maybe my lunch, right? And then I'm just gonna have like a couple snacks and then dinner. That's what you do. Guess what? Also, adding butter to your coffee is not intermittent fasting, by the way, because you're intaking calories. Okay, butter is calories. That's not fasting. Anytime you eat anything, it's not fasting, right? So, what this is doing is, again, you're eating 33% roughly less calories accidentally. Now, if you eat a double the size dinner or triple the size dinner, then again, you're not going to lose weight because you just move those calories all to dinner. Okay. So then there's also portion control. You're like, all right, so these are the size of my meals. What if I just eat smaller meals, like calorie restriction, and I'm gonna lose weight? Yeah, you lose weight. You're eating. Now this one, actually, at least you're not confused about what you're doing. You know you're eating less calories because you're reducing your portion sizes. But if you reduce your portion sizes and then you eat 7 times, then it cancels it out, right? So again, you're like, at this point, you're like, well, what kind of diet should I do then? So that's the yo-yo diet, like we talked about earlier, where you diet, you restrict your calories accidentally or on purpose, and then you lose your muscle, and then you start over and over again. It's not good. What I'm going to talk to you about is like what's called reverse dieting. And this is the best way to do it because ultimately this is increasing your metabolism instead of losing the weight, or at least preserving your metabolism while you're losing weight. Okay. It's kind of like, imagine having no limit. Imagine having such a high metabolism from muscle, by the way, that your eating doesn't have to change or that much, right? Or maybe you can eat more now because your metabolism's higher. And you can, at this point, this is what I call like the holy grail. Like you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want to. Obviously, the portion size matters. But you have really no limits. You don't have to track it, and you have no diets. That's what eating whatever, whenever you want is all about. It's the holy grail, and it's muscle. Muscle is what controls your metabolism. By having more muscle, you step 1, build more muscle, right? Step 2, eventually you'll lose body fat because you have more muscle automatically without having to restrict your calories. And then step 3, sustain your muscle, because if you stop, obviously your metabolism will go back down, you'll gain the weight again. Okay. And so the only way to have the holy grail is to build muscle so that you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want. Now you're like, what is this? What are we talking about here? In general, some nutrition tips are how much is the most important thing you can focus on. So it's calories. The however is the diet. Now the calories again are going to be irrelevant if you have such a high metabolism. But step 2 is the whatever, which is the quality of food that you're choosing. Are you getting organic? Are you getting healthy fats versus unhealthy fats? There's a lot of quality factors that do matter, but it doesn't matter in terms of fat loss. Calories matter more. The third thing is timing. Eating certain calories at certain times are going to give you energy and be more advantageous for your sleeping and things like that. So there's things that help you in building muscle. Okay. So in order to maximize your muscle gain, you want to have all 3 of these in order to be the highest level of success. Okay. If anything, start with level 1. And that's what eating whatever you want, whatever it was all about. The old way is like, don't do this, do it this way, all these diets and rules. The new way is plan for success, yes. And there's just one way to do it, which is build more muscle. And ultimately, if you plan to have success by building more muscle, okay? So now I want you to try out building more muscle. When you're building balanced strength and a symmetrical physique, it's important that you don't isolate muscles, but that you work the whole body together. For instance, if you see somebody that stands like this and has overdeveloped traps like I'm gonna move this, sorry, earlier in my presentation, when we're talking about physique. When you're building balanced strength and a symmetrical physique, it's important that you don't isolate muscles, but that you work the whole body together. For instance, if you see somebody that stands like this and has overdeveloped traps like this, instead of stands like this happens because the back is either weak or not engaging, which causes the traps to overcompensate. For example, a common exercise that most people do wrong is a push-up and bench press. Same movement. What they're doing is, as they're pushing forward, their traps are compensating instead of using their whole body as one, creating balance strength and having their back engaged in the motion. They're trying to isolate their chest, which then ends up compensating into their traps, creating an out of balance physique and eventually pain and injury in the future. So whether you're doing this or you're doing this or this, what I want you to do is squeeze your back together on the way down the bench press and push-up position without shrugging your traps. So keep your traps down. And then when you push through, push from underneath, spreading your shoulder blades together and forward, again, without compensating up. So it's going to look like this. All right, so I want you to try that out. All right, so that's secret number one, which is how your dream physique by building those major muscle groups is going to help you eat whatever you want, because building muscle ultimately is going to help you increase your metabolism. Okay, let's move on to secret number two. So if you're somebody who has pain and want to become injury bulletproof, right, or both, this is for you. So like, first off is like, well, what is pain? You're like, I have pain, something is wrong with me, right? Pain doesn't mean damage, always. It's more of a warning sign, okay? Especially for 99% of people. It's kind of like a leaky roof. Like, you can see it happen, but if you do nothing, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, okay? And if you treat the symptoms, like you have pain and you get shots, injections, steroids, do pain pills, all you're doing is taking away the warning sign that something's wrong, and you're not fixing the root cause problem. It's still going to get worse, even though you don't feel it. It'll just happen. You're just getting rid of the pain. Problem's still there. Okay, it'll just postpone the pain for a period of time. Pain is happening because we have fault line cracks inside of our body that are lurking, okay? And they're caused from repetitive trauma, like doing exercise the wrong way, from just our modern lifestyles of inactivity or just moving wrong. They are happening. And if you're not aware of the pain now, it doesn't mean you don't have a fault line crack in your body, like you're out of alignment. It's still lurking, waiting to erupt. When you do that, when you move that certain way, boom, now you feel it. It cracks open like an earthquake in your body, okay? So these fault line cracks show up in our posture in the form of alignment issues. It's the most visible way of seeing them, the easiest. So if you look at like this house, and if it's like all warped and it's leaning, right, it's about to collapse pretty much, would you go inside that house? No, right? So it's the same with your body. This is what I call being structural integrity. So the opposite of having these fault line cracks and these, like a leaky roof, is having structural integrity. And what these fault line cracks are called is movement inefficiencies, okay? Because ultimately they're all going to affect the way that you move, and movement is really going to cause these to erupt. So the three kinds of movement inefficiencies that affect your structural integrity are, having tight muscles that are weak, that are allowing you to get out of alignment, having pain or lurking injury, and then so these structural integrity issues, also called movement inefficiencies, show up in different ways. One, this is like a front view. You can see how the body's out of alignment, causes it's from a tight or weak link. Having forward leaning posture, back leaning posture versus straight posture, and also can make you look fat. So by fixing your alignment, you actually can improve your performance, improve the way that you look, and eliminate pain all at the same time. Okay, because when you have these inefficiencies, these fault-like cracks, it puts extra stress on your bones and joints in a way that's not good. Okay, because you're not using the muscles properly to support things, and that's why you're out of alignment in the first place. All right. So there's three kinds of movement inefficiencies that affect your structural integrity. One is mobility limitations, so like tightness, like the inability to do things correctly. So then it's putting extra pressure on an area that shouldn't have to carry that weight, or you just can't do it at all. And then when you do it, you have a weak link, you get injured. Postural imbalances, your body just being out of alignment, like one side compensates all the time, you're right-handed, so then you never use your left hand, and eventually it affects your shoulder blades, the way your shoulders move. Okay, and then the third is faulty movement patterns, things you do throughout the day. When your body's in alignment, and so the goal is to achieve optimal alignment, okay, in your movement chain. Okay, all the joints are connected. So if your feet are out of alignment, it affects the joints above it. It can throw your hips out of alignment, and then your shoulders, and then you have neck pain. Okay, all the joints need to stack on top of each other, and the muscles need to support them properly in order for you to move without pain. When this happens, when you're in optimal alignment, this unlocks your body's ability to self-repair. Okay, you're getting blood flow properly through the muscles. They're being stimulated properly because you're strengthening the weak muscles and everything's in alignment. The inflammation is going to reduce from this happening too when you're in alignment, because now you're no longer irritating the joints and it's causing pain. Okay, and really it's going to unlock your body ability to do what we're designed to do, which is movement. Okay. And our modern lifestyle is kind of the root cause of this. So the next thing you might be wondering is, how can you eliminate pain? Well, you can eliminate pain by taking pills, taking time off, or just limiting yourself more and more, doing surgery, right? Or you can get to the root source of the problem. The three most common pain mistakes that are doing more harm than good and making your pain worse, that's what we're going to cover. So one is you're tight, so you're just like it's tight, so you feel like you should stretch it. Yes, but very limited, but not because that's not why it's in pain. Okay, it might be part of the problem, but that's not the only thing. And then you just end up overstretching the muscle, and an area that's in pain may not be the issue. It could be an area, like I said, if your foot is the problem and it's causing you to have neck pain, stretching your neck isn't going to fix it because your foot's really the problem. That makes sense? So pain number one is overstretching or stretching an area that you have pain when it's not really the problem. So don't target the symptoms, target the root cause. All right. So pain mistake number two is if you, have an area that's giving you trouble, like let's say your shoulder hurts, you're like, I need to strengthen my shoulder. So you start strengthening your shoulder, and you're overtraining that shoulder, and irritating it more and more when the problem is actually your shoulder blade behind it, right? Or that your traps are overworking, then you're just going to make it worse because you're not strengthening the things that need to be strengthened because you're trying to target, again, the area that you feel it in. Okay, so don't overtrain the muscle. Don't strengthen the muscle, strengthen your structural alignment. Keep things aligned. Okay, pain mistake number 3 is taking time off. Taking time off can feel good for a period of time because you're limiting yourself, but the problem, and you're decreasing inflammation because you're not using that joint, right? You're not irritating it, you're not causing the pain, but it's actually going to make the problem worse because now those muscles are getting tighter and weaker than they were before because you're taking time off. So when you go back to doing something again, you're just going to get you're feeling good. You're just going to irritate it instantly more than before, and even to a worse degree, probably get injured. Okay, so that's pain mistake number 3 is taking time off actually makes your body more weak and tight. So fix the problem before it gets worse. Address the root cause issue, not the symptoms. Okay. And that's what the movement method that I made is all about, which is unwinding, realigning, and reprogramming your body so that you can eliminate chronic pain and bulletproof your body if you don't have it to live a physically free, active life. Okay. And so we're going to skip a few of these, but one way that you can tell you have mobility issues is to be able to do a forward bend without overbending, not being able to touch the floor, and keeping your back straight. Okay, that's how you do it the right way. Another way that you can tell if you're out of alignment is by looking at your front view or your side view and seeing that the joints are stacked on top of each other in the proper way. For instance, you can see this gentleman, when he's standing, he is leaning to one side, he's off-centered, and then he's kind of leaning forward a little bit. His ears are not stacked on top of his shoulders, okay? And this lady here, you can see that her one shoulder is higher than the other. And when she's standing, you can see that she's shifting her weight on one side, and she's not perfectly centered in either way. So I have a 3D body scanner that gets a 3D image of my client's bodies, so we can do photos as well as this scanner to see and assess posture. And so with that, one of the things that you can do right now to start improving your posture is training your core, okay? Because your core is kind of the center that affects above and below. So if there's one thing that you can do that will affect everything positively, aside from diving in and really finding what your root cause is, ultimately this will have to happen no matter what your cause is anyways. So you might as well start with this first and then continue to resolve the other issues that you'll have, because typically you'll have more than one. Everything ends up being, this is one of the problems that you have typically. So it's working your core. Your core is not just your abs. Your core is actually from your inner thighs all the way up to your obliques. Okay. So this is what I want you to try. This is an exercise that you can do to train your core right now. And then if you have the right training program, you'll be able to implement this into your training to work your core during your workouts. So that way you're not neglecting it and working it the right way. And training abs is not gonna cut it. It's good, but it's not what I'm talking about. It's not the solution to training your core. When it comes to your body's postural alignment, yes, we want your joints stacked up on top of each other so you're standing straight instead of leaning one way or the other. We want your feet and knees aligned facing forward. That's postural alignment, okay? So in terms of movement, we want to keep your body aligned while you're moving, okay? So that's what I'm talking about when I say structural integrity. It's having everything aligned and keeping it aligned in the movement, okay? So one of the most important things in doing that is engaging your core throughout the movement, okay? So what most people think core is your abs, okay? And it is, but it's actually starting from your adductors all the way up through your hips to your core and obliques, okay? This entire range is your core because it affects your body's ability to move, and it really connects the top to the bottom and supports and stabilizes everything. That's why it's important to do movements that train your body's ability to connect the top and bottom and work the core all at the same time, okay? So this exercise is gonna do just that. So let's try it out. So I want you to take a stagger stance, okay? So kind of like if you're going to run, right? So the bigger the stance, the better. The lower the knee can drop, the better. And what I want you to do is have your hips facing forward, okay? I want your abs engaged so your spine is neutral. I don't want you to lean forward into it or have your abs turned off and then lean back, okay? I want your core engaged through here, your abs engaged. And we're gonna get this position that's your kind of knees bent, you're in a lunge position, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna run as fast as we can, okay? So I want you to do this for a minute on each side. And when you get done, you're gonna switch legs and we're gonna do the other side for a minute as well, okay? And what you're gonna feel through this exercise is that your knee has to stabilize through here, your abs are on and your obliques are all engaged. Even your upper body is connected through this motion. And that's one way to train the core. So try it out right now. Ready? And I want you to do this and type in the chat box how it feels for you, okay? So that's secret number 2 is how to eliminate pain and become injury bulletproof is to realign your body and train your core so that it reinforces your structural integrity, okay? So secret number 3, how to unlock peak athletic performance. Now, what is peak athletic performance? I know I talked about peak, just peak performance in general, but peak athletic performance, I'm really talking about physical freedom here, okay? Being able to do the things that you want to do and love and should be able to do easily and only just focus on enjoying them, not even having them be, difficult or where you're like tired or you dread doing them, like golf, being able to do golf and not have your back hurt after, right? Being able to go snowboarding and not injure your joints or anything. Being able to play tennis and not risk an ankle injury, knee, and again, not have your back or shoulder hurt while you're playing, okay? So peak performance is being able to play your ultimate best without getting injured, okay? And it's important to know that to do this, we have to train all the ways that the body is able to move, okay? Your foundational movement patterns, like doing a squat, like a lunge, like a push, pull, hinging, bend movement, and the core, training the core, okay? These are some of the foundational movements that the body is able to move, and that's why just training the major muscle groups alone are very rigid and they don't create an athletic body that's designed to actually move versus just, look good for appearances. All right. Now, so that's basically what you need to know is don't strengthen the muscles, strengthen the movement, not the muscles. Okay. So, and one of the biggest things to these movements is that anyone can start doing them at any age, okay? It's about range of ability, okay? Range of motion. So range of motion is one of the things that you need. When I'm talking about range of ability, because an ability to do this for lunge is a combination of your coordination, like your ability to be coordinated enough to not just fall over, as well as having enough strength to be able to conduct this exercise without, pulling a muscle, and even just being able to get back up, and having the mobility to be able to do this exercise and not be too tight, okay, not having that limit you. You need all 3. That's range of ability. So now it can be progressed. You can start anywhere and be able to start training these movement patterns at any level, any age, any fitness level or experience, okay? So like this is level 1, using a box to do this lunge. This makes it easier, okay? You can use a couch, you can use a chair, then you can lower it, make it a little bit difficult, add weights when you're ready, and then eventually eliminate the box altogether and do it on the floor, and that's how you progress your range of ability. So let's try it out. In order to gain agility, we have to start with where we're at and then progress from there. and keep progressing until you reach your goal. It's time for you to try it out. Start this movement by having a neutral spine, keeping the core tight, and then as you're going down, keep the core tight the whole way down and the whole way up. So what we're going to do is, I want you to have something to hold on to, and then eventually you'll be able to let go. So this is called assisted, okay? So keep the inner thighs engaged, neutral spine, core tight, hold on to a doorknob, a wall, just anything that's firm, a couch that you can put all your body weight onto. So that way you don't have to worry about balance, and it makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so it's okay if you're leaning against the pole. From there, you're going to drive through your glutes, okay, all the way up, keeping your core and abs engaged. So this is set up so that anybody can do this, no matter what your age, your mobility level, or your genetics and athletic ability, okay? So this is where you should start, and then eventually you'll be able to use the bar half the time, right? So use it on the way down, and then let go on the way up. So I want you to try this, okay? Find something to hold on to that you can test this out and test out your ability. So hold on to it on the way down, let go on the way up, okay? Eventually you'll be able to do it without any assistance at all, and then eventually be able to do it with weights on your back or dumbbells holding to your side with added weight besides your body weight on top of that. All right, so I'm going to try that out and let me know how that goes. So that's secret number 3, is how to unlock your peak athletic performance, is to train the movement, not the muscles, okay? So again, don't wait until the problem is so big that you have a full-blown roof repair. Start fixing the problem right away. And don't miss the boat on feeling your very best, because human decline is happening, whether you want it to or not, and whether you think it's not happening, it's probably happening faster than you think, and before you know it, you're like, what happened to my body? Like, why is just doing basic things so difficult? Because you had muscle atrophy happen. Like, why is my back hurting? I'm just sitting here. Your muscle atrophy, okay? So what's the next step? If you're still skeptical, go to transformationstudios.com. I have a lot of client stories, videos, things that you can look at just to see that there's real clients that are getting these benefits from my programs. If you need more guidance on how to implement these 3, schedule a free results strategy call. We can meet online or in person, do a Zoom call. Or 3, if you're ready to begin your transformation, just schedule right now and you'll get 10% off. Type in the chat box of your customized program, and I'm going to guarantee you the results because you're on this program. Okay, so thank you again. Let me know if you have any questions. Follow me on social media, transformationseekers.com. Hope you learned a lot, and hope this really is going to help you motivate you to get started and really fix those missing links that you have in your training. If you're currently doing something, not getting the results you want, it's either because of your fitness, you're not tracking things the right way, or your nutrition. So let me know if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day.